Alright, so there we go. Just make sure everything is trying to get everything, keep everything organized the best you can, especially with these level kits and that kind of stuff, because these are kind of what I would call deliverables. It's not even what I would call them, it just depends on your studio. Deliverables are basically something that's going to go off to another team or to another, or be fed into the pipeline. So you want to make sure your stuff is clean and organized and follows some kind of convention. Um, typically there's some type of naming convention, some type of um, layering convention that exists. You just want stuff to make sense. Um, for this DVD, I'd like to say that we follow that totally, but or not DVD, but for this tutorial, I'd like to say we follow that 100% of the time, but I know I don't. But again, it's a caveat. It's out there. I said it. It's important. I don't even know if caveat's the right word for that, but it is what it is. So we'll do one of these guys as well. Again, you can want to make sure that snaps out. Make sure I measure it. Measure your stuff twice. Look at it. You're like, okay, that's good enough. It's accurate. You can see where you need to extend the vertice to make that work. Just target weld you in there. You could have collapsed them as well, just as long as they're in line. Now we have a 90-degree corner. We can also chamfer the insides of that and make that into a rounded corner if we want. Again, remember, once this stuff starts snapping and fitting into place, you start to be limited by your imagination, which is kind of a fun place to be in. And again, with Unreal 4, we get to save a little bit of time because we get to mirror stuff in the engine, which, maybe your pipeline doesn't allow you to do that. There's reasons why I can definitely see them not wanting you to do that, but Unreal allows it, so we're going to utilize it for this course. Um, I'm just going to round that guy right on out. And for this, I know that if I make those lines equal, like totally flat, they'll measure out. Okay, now we could sit here and go through and make assets till our eyes bleed to fit all of these. We're not going to do that for this course. We're only going to do one section. Um, I try and scope this stuff accordingly. So, I think it's pretty reasonable to say that it should take you about a week to 2 weeks to do one of these things from start to finish, including UVs and um, high to low poly and all that fun stuff. But recording this stuff, it takes actually a lot more time than just the normal production time than it would take, just because I gotta make sure things are correct. I'm making sure I'm trying to follow convention and that kind of stuff. Let's go on and through here. 192 for the length there. Oh, wait, what was the length there? Notice my... And again, this is a really nice way, like if one of your assets aren't quite to scale or they're not quite working, again, I'm measuring to see how far out this asset needs to be if it's 3 times the length of our original piece, just so I know how many times if I was to put a 1024, 2048 in there, how many times off I'd have to tile that set or that texture UV. And I think that for this, yeah, we're just going to go in and just make things a little bit more simplistic on our end. Which is okay. I mean, again, it depends on how you want to work. I try to keep things as simple as I can. I really try to whatever's going to make less work, as terrible as that sounds, but it's very true. I don't want to do a bunch of extra work I don't need. Um, so I'm just going to snap that in. I can tell it's tired. I'm tired when I'm doing this because I record I do it once and I record the audio in post, but I'm like, why isn't that working? It's like, oh wait, the length is actually a little short there. So now I know that they're all going to fit within the same textile scale. I'm still following the 2048 rule. I don't have to do two 2048s or, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to recheck my measurements here because I'm noticing some of these pieces are not quite at the right size. And again, you sanity check based off of your other assets, right? So you know, this is how you re-verify. You triple and double check stuff, especially with this stuff because these are the foundational elements. You don't want to screw this up because you screw this up, everything's screwed up. Okay, so you measure it the best you can, and again, sometimes stuff happens. You get tired or whatever. You're a human being, but you want to try to do the best you can, basically. Yeah, one point or other, the one of my tiling pieces got the size got messed up. But again, this is why we check stuff. At this point, iteration is totally acceptable. This is totally the thing that you want to be doing. You want to be catching these mistakes early, fail often, and fail early with this stuff. You don't want to get into a position where you've made all these assets and they're all in the wrong length and that kind of stuff. You got to go back and re-UV stuff. You got to get them. I've been there. It sucks. It's terrible. You don't want to do it.